Welcome back to another video from Only Copilot fans. I'm your host, AJ Ansari. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite features in Copilot Studio, Code Interpreter. The Code Interpreter, simply put, is a feature that allows you to perform data analysis, and it does it by executing Python code. It can process visualizations, it can process Excel files and CSV files, Word files, PDF files, and even PowerPoint files. Now, what I like even more than just the processing part is it can also generate files in any one of those formats. So if you have an agent, one of the things that your users will expect from your agent is to either be able to send information to them in the form of an email, and this is something we've covered in previous videos, or to be able to generate a file so that they can take that output and use them in work product that they're building down the workflow. And this feature comes in handy so many times in the agents that I create. So let's get started. Here I am in Copilot Studio using one of my agents that I've used in a previous episode. And this agent is set to use the GPT-5 chat model. And if I scroll down, you'll see I've got some instructions, nothing special over here. We've got a knowledge source connected to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central's Microsoft Learn documentation. And then there's a couple of tools over here that help us get some data from Business Central. And now let's talk about what you need to enable the Code Interpreter functionality. If you go into Settings, you're going to notice down here at the bottom of the screen, there is a File Processing Capabilities area. Here you have two features. The first one to enable is the Code Interpreter. And if you'd like to read more information about it on Microsoft Learn, you can click the Learn More button. The second thing that you need to do is enable file uploads. This is especially important if you want to analyze information. So if you want to upload a file or two and want to have your agent analyze these, first you must give it the ability to handle file uploads. Enable both of those, save what you're doing, and go back to your home screen on the agent. So now let's try out our first scenario. I want to get a list of customers from Business Central that have a balance due greater than 0, and then I want to generate a visualization, a pie chart, that shows all the customers by their balance due. Pretty simple example, but it'll help demonstrate a point on how this function works. Show me a list of customers that have balance due greater than 0. Now, based on some instructions I've previously provided to my agent, it should show all of this information as a table. Now I see over here, this is my list of customers. I've got 4 customers for a total of $70,000 in balance due. Let's ask to see this as a pie chart. And you'll see that the Code Interpreter will start running. And now that it's complete, you can see the code that is generated in Python, that it's executed, and also some confirmation on the right-hand side of how it's created the pie chart. You can see the percentages that it's used, and it shows me this image. Now, this image looks like it's been cut off, but if you want to save this, you can, and you'll see that image in its entirety. And you'd be able to utilize this in whatever work product that you're creating. What if you wanted to take this one step further? What if you wanted to see this and a lot of other information in an Excel file, some tables and some charts, etc.? Let's check that out now. So let's paste my new prompt here into my conversation. Pull a list of customers from Business Central, then create a dashboard in Excel with analysis of customers, sales, balance, salespeople, and use a color palette that resembles the brand colors of Business Central. And let's go. All right, so now it's finished, and you can see that it's run through the Find Customer Records to locate all the customers from Business Central. Then it's done some code analysis and executed some Python code to give us a file. Let's take a look at this file. And this time, you'll notice I've got my table of customers and then the dashboard. The dashboard's got all kinds of charts and from analysis like a total sales, total profit, total balance due. The more information that you provide, it's going to do a better job. Now, if I don't like what I'm seeing over here, I could ask it to regenerate this file. Let's try out a whole different scenario now. I want you to consider a situation where you want to get instructions for closing out a year or an accounting period inside of Business Central. You want to use a knowledge source and you want to get some step-by-step instructions that you could utilize again and again in your organization. You could ask for these instructions in a variety of formats. You could ask for this in Word, in PDF, or even in Markdown language. Let's take a look at how that's done. So here, I need to create a training document for month-end closing processes in Business Central. Can you create a Word document with good formatting? Also provide me a Markdown language document. All right, so now it's finished generating those files for us. And let's first take a look at the month-end closing process Word document. I'm going to open this, and you can see some introductions, pre-closing activities, reconciliation steps, close the period, reporting, and then it also shows us the citation or the source where it got all this information from. So we know that this is coming from a reliable and relevant source of information. For those of you who preferred something that was more of a technical documentation, we can view this in Visual Studio Code or your favorite text editor. All that information is in Markdown. So depending on how you like to work with something, you'll find that Copilot Studio agents are capable of not just understanding, but also generating file outputs. And this will make your agent experience so much better for your users. But before I leave you, let's talk about an example where you might want to use your Copilot Studio agent for analyzing and maybe performing some reconciliation. You could take one or more files and you can ask your Copilot Studio agent to analyze them. As an example, you could have a file that contains a list of invoices and another file that contains a list of payments. And you would want to reconcile those payments against those invoices. What you need to do is either just type that in as one prompt, or within the agent instructions area, you could create a process section, as you've seen me do in other videos, and then you could write step by step all the things that you wanted to do to generate a reconciliation. I'm only going to show this using a simple prompt, but if you're interested in system instructions, go ahead and leave a comment or reach out to me on LinkedIn. And depending on the demand, I'll either just send you the information or create an entire YouTube video around that. So let's get started. The first file is a list of invoices, and let's go ahead and open that to see what's going on over here. You see I've got about 20 or so invoices. Some of them have been paid, some of them are not paid. We've got some invoice number, customer name, posting date, amount, description. Full disclosure, I had the sample file generated by Copilot in Excel, so that's why you see some pretty interesting descriptions for the transactions and a due date for each of these. And then separately, I have a file which shows me all the payments, so about 12 unique payments that have come through. And these simply contain amount numbers, amounts information, and the customer name and a payment date. So here's the instruction. Here are two files, one containing a list of invoices and one containing a list of payments. Compare and reconcile the two files and create a new Excel spreadsheet with the reconciliation information. The new file should contain all the information in the invoice file, plus one column for payment date. If a row in the payment file matches a row in the invoice file, and the matching is to be done on the basis of the amount and the customer name, then the related row in the reconciliation file should have the paid column set to true, and the payment date column should show the date it was paid. Simple instruction, and all I need to do is upload the files in question. So let's grab these two files, and now let's send it. It's going to first read both of these files and analyze them, and then it will start going through the step of creating a third reconciliation file. So it's going to take a little bit of time, about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on the size of the file. So I'll fast forward and I'll see you on the other side. All right, so it's finished the process, and let's take a look at what it's done. Now I can see my payment file had 12 payment records, and let's pick 3 random ones to see if it's correctly reconciled them. Let's pick the one for Chad Smith, 3156, and the payment date of 30 October 2025. So if I'm looking for 3156, that looks like this record right here. Perfect. It's been marked to true, and the payment date was October 30th. You see that right over here in row 18. Let's pick another one. Let's go to a large amount. Maria Baker, $3,929.46. And let's look through this list really quickly. Maria Baker, marked true, $3,929. And you can see the proper date assigned. Let's pick one more. Let's take the one for Amanda Patel, $580.90, paid on 18th of October 2025. And Amanda Patel is right up here, also marked true. And you can see that for all the entries that have been reconciled, my paid columns value is set to true. So this is how quick and efficient it can be to use Code Interpreter to analyze and to do reconciliation. Hey guys and gals, something I forgot to talk about that's really important. If your agent is using one of the Anthropic cloud models like Cloud Sonnet 4.5 or Opus 4.5, you will find that the code interpreter capability, while it runs through the analysis and Python code execution, it will not be generating a file output. I've noticed this with visualizations, with Excel, Word, PDF files, etc. This is at the time of our recording, which is December 2025, so this may change down in the future. It does, however, work well with the OpenAI model, so anything in the GPT family of models, including GPT 5.1. So, what can you do? If you are running an agent that primarily uses an Anthropic model and it's not feasible to change it, you can use Prompt Builder. Prompt Builder will allow you to run Code Interpreter, and it will also allow you to select a different model. What you can also do is create a separate agent, and that agent will run the Code Interpreter capability. At this time, child agents within Copilot Studio do not support a separate LLM, so do keep that in mind. Back to our regular video. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this is absolutely one of my favorite features in Copilot Studio, and it really makes a user feel like they're talking to a smart agent that can do things for them and ease some of their burdens. If you like this video, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe button, and tell your friends about Only Copilot fans. I'll see you again very soon on our next video. Have a great day.